Okay, so today we're going to be talking about objectives and tactics, and we're going to go over this presentation about what does my character want. Okay, so objectives. What does your character want? In every scene, a character wants something. This is kind of their whole purpose, their whole goal, and it's what drives them. They also have things called mini objectives, which are essentially objectives they goals they're trying to reach in order to reach their ultimate goal. So, for example, if I was trying to propose to somebody, I would need to get money, and then after I got money, I would go buy a ring, and after I get the ring, I would go propose. Um, and so all of my full goal was to propose to someone, and then all the mini goals in between were to help me achieve that goal. All right. And then, so while we're trying to achieve our objectives, we'll use tactics. Each character has specific tactics they use, and they're usually related to an emotion. Um, Depending on the character and their personality, they might use emotions differently compared to other characters. So a good way to explain a tactic is this statement down here: I will emotion until I get what I want. So I will be angry until I get what I want. I will be disgusted with you until I get what I want. I will fear you or terrorize you until I get what I want, etc. Okay, conflict is what generally drives all plays, musicals, movies, etc. If there's not conflict, the audience is generally bored. So, what is stopping your character from getting what they want? This is a conflict. Conflict is what keeps the scene interesting to an audience. The stronger the conflict and the higher the stakes, and we'll talk about stakes later, the more an audience will pay attention. Relationships. So, characters, depending on their personality, use different tactics to get their objective. However, they will also use different tactics depending on who they are talking to. So if your objective requires you to get something from someone you know, you will use different tactics because you know this character or person. So you got to keep that in mind when you're designing your characters. So how does getting or not getting what the character wants affect their relationships? It's also a good question. And each character will use different tactics to achieve their objective differently, depending on how well they know the other character. Consequences. All right. I'm going to move my head over here. Okay. What could happen to the character if they achieve their goal? Or what could happen if they do not achieve their goal? These are two things that the character might have in mind. Sometimes they don't even think about consequences. Depends on the character. Each character will be driven by their objective, but some objectives drive a character more than others. For example, when the stakes are life and death, a character may stop at nothing to achieve their goal. Although, if the stakes are that they may lose a parking spot at work, they may eventually give up, depending on other circumstances. Although, if you're watching The Office, they might fight tooth and nail to get that parking spot. It just kind of depends on the circumstances. Okay, speaking of Thanos, Thanos from Infinity War is a good example of a character with a very clear objective. He wants to eliminate half the population of the universe because those in it will use up the resources and everyone will die. Objective and consequence. So his objective is to eliminate half the population, and the consequence, if he doesn't do it, is that everyone will die because they will use up the resources. He wanted his objective so badly, he lost everyone in his life and murdered his own daughter to get it. So that affected his relationships, and there was more consequences. So this specific situation had consequences, bad consequences on both sides. All right. So in high school, I played a character named Silvio, and he was part of the Commedia dell'arte movement. It was written by Carlo Goldoni, and his character was a type of innamorati, which meant lover. Silvio, his goal was to marry Clarice, but later on you find out that the man that we thought was dead is alive, and Clarice was originally betrothed to him. So his goal is to marry Clarice, even though she is betrothed to another man. That's his objective, and the relationship. He goes as far as to duel the man she is betrothed to, only to lose. So this is a consequence of him trying to achieve his objective and failing. But in the end, it ends up happy, and there's a wedding because it's a comedy, and he marries Clarice, and the other guy ends up being a girl who actually is a sister, and she marries a man that she wanted to marry because she just wanted money from Clarice's family. Yada, yada, yada. Okay. So I'm going to go over your assignment real quick. Okay. This is the objective quiz. I want your name, and in your own words, I want what is an objective, what is a tactic, and I want you to name a movie or play and a character in the movie or play. Explain this character's objective and one thing they did to achieve it. And then using your two-person scene in class, I want you to explain your character's objective and one thing you will do to achieve it. So you may want to work with your partner on that. At least tell them what you want. But I want that submitted as soon as possible. All of this is on the website. And thank you guys. Enjoy.